Confidence is one of the most magnetic and misunderstood forces in human psychology. It is the invisible armor that shields you from doubt, the silent authority that makes people listen without question, and the quiet strength that allows you to move through the world with certainty. But true confidence is not arrogance. It is not the loud voice that tries to dominate a room or the exaggerated bravado that masks insecurity. Real confidence is calm, grounded, and unshakable. It is the state of being where you no longer chase validation, because you no longer need it. And paradoxically, the moment you stop seeking approval, people instinctively begin to give it to you. Confidence is power. But to understand it fully, we must strip away the illusions surrounding it and uncover the psychological foundation that makes it so magnetic. Most people confuse confidence with performance. They believe confidence is about always looking strong, never showing weakness, or constantly projecting dominance. But these are fragile illusions. True confidence is rooted in self-trust. It is the ability to know, deep within, that you can handle whatever life throws at you. Confidence is not "I know I will succeed." It is "even if I fail, I know I will recover." This distinction is vital. If your confidence depends on winning, on external validation, or on constant success, it will collapse the moment things go wrong. But if your confidence is built on resilience, it becomes unbreakable. History shows us countless examples. The most respected generals were not those who won every battle, but those who could stay calm in the midst of defeat. The greatest leaders were not those who avoided criticism, but those who stood firm despite it. The most magnetic figures were not those who pretended to be flawless, but those who carried their flaws without shame. Confidence, then, is not about perfection, it is about presence. Human beings are wired to mirror one another. We subconsciously pick up on signals of certainty and uncertainty. This is why confidence is contagious. When you walk into a room with calm assurance, people feel it instantly. They assume you know what you are doing, even if you don't. On the other hand, if you carry doubt, hesitation, or insecurity, others sense it just as quickly. This is why belief in yourself is one of the most powerful psychological weapons you can wield. If you believe deeply, others will follow. Doubt spreads like a virus, but so does conviction. In negotiations, relationships, leadership, and even casual interactions, confidence shapes perception. People don't follow the smartest person, they follow the most certain one. One of the strongest indicators of true confidence is composure in chaos. Most people panic under stress. They fidget, raise their voices, over-explain, or lose their cool. This reveals insecurity. But the person who remains calm even when the situation turns hostile radiates strength. Think about the last time you saw someone lose control in an argument. They may have been winning logically, but the moment they got emotional, they lost authority. Now think about the opposite. The person who remains steady, grounded, and unprovoked. Their calmness instantly makes them the dominant presence. Confidence is not the absence of fear, it is the ability to act with clarity despite fear. This is why soldiers are trained to control their breathing in battle, why negotiators practice silence, and why leaders rehearse composure. Calmness under pressure is a signal of power that others cannot ignore. Before you even speak, people are forming judgments about you. Your posture, movements, and facial expressions communicate far more than your words. Confident individuals have a distinct presence. They move deliberately, never rushed. They stand tall, shoulders back, with an open chest. They hold steady eye contact without aggression. They do not over-explain themselves. Presence is about energy as much as it is about body language. A confident person doesn't need to constantly prove themselves, they radiate authority without effort. Consider historical figures like Nelson Mandela or Marcus Aurelius. Their authority did not come from loudness or force, but from stillness. True presence is felt before it is heard. Silence makes many people uncomfortable. They rush to fill it with words, explanations, or nervous chatter. But confident people use silence as a weapon. When you do not feel the need to over-explain yourself, you project certainty. When you can sit in silence without fidgeting, you communicate composure. In conversations, silence creates pressure. It forces the other person to reveal more than they intend. It makes your eventual words carry greater weight. Silence says, "I am in control. I do not need to rush, and I do not need to seek approval." Confidence is not talking more. It is saying less, but making every word count. Confidence is deeply connected to boundaries. If you cannot say no, if you allow others to walk over you, or if you constantly sacrifice yourself for approval, you cannot be confident. True confidence is the ability to respect yourself so deeply that others have no choice but to respect you too. This is why boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary. When you say no without guilt, you demonstrate self-worth, and people respect those who respect themselves. The desperate, approval-seeking person is never respected. The confident individual, however, communicates, "My time, energy, and attention are valuable. I do not give them away cheaply." Scarcity creates value, and this applies not only to resources, but to your very presence. Confidence is amplified by mystery. When you reveal too much about yourself, your emotions, your fears, your weaknesses, others can use that against you. But when you remain composed, controlled, and slightly unpredictable, people respect you more. Mystery creates intrigue. It makes people curious about you. And curiosity is power, because it draws attention without effort. Think of the most magnetic figures in history: leaders, artists, philosophers. Their mystery was part of their influence. Confidence is not oversharing, it is knowing what to reveal and what to withhold. Confidence is not a moment, it is a pattern. A person who is confident one day and insecure the next loses credibility. Real confidence is steady, built through consistency and self-discipline. When people know they can rely on your behavior, that you do not waver emotionally, that you stay true to your principles, they instinctively trust you. And trust is one of the deepest forms of respect. Confidence is not about impressing people once. It is about embodying stability so consistently that respect becomes automatic. Confidence cannot exist without discipline. If you constantly break promises to yourself, if you lack control over your impulses, if you fail to follow through on commitments, you cannot feel confident. Deep down, you will always know you cannot trust yourself. But discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, even in small ways, you reinforce self-respect. Over time, this self-trust grows into unshakable confidence. Confidence is not built in one moment of glory, it is built in the quiet, daily discipline of honoring your word to yourself. Let's consider how confidence plays out in different arenas. In relationships, the confident person does not chase or beg for attention. They attract naturally by valuing themselves. In business, the confident negotiator does not oversell. They speak less, but their words carry authority. In leadership, the confident leader does not need to micromanage. Their presence alone inspires loyalty. In personal growth, the confident individual does not need external milestones to feel worthy. Their worth is internal. Confidence touches every aspect of life because it changes the way others perceive you and the way you perceive yourself. So how does one build unshakable confidence? It comes down to timeless principles: self-mastery, discipline, presence, boundaries, silence, mystery, and consistency. Confidence is not built overnight. It is forged through repeated choices every day, every moment. Confidence is not about being louder, richer, or more dominant. It is about being grounded, calm, and untouchable. The world is full of people pretending to be confident, but very few truly are. And the difference is clear. The pretender seeks validation. The truly confident attract it without trying. When you are unshakable, people gravitate toward you. They listen when you speak. They follow your lead. And they respect your presence, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. In the end, confidence is the ultimate form of freedom. It frees you from the opinions of others, from the fear of failure, and from the need to prove yourself. It allows you to walk through the world untouchable, not because the world is easy, but because you know you are strong enough to handle it. And that is the essence of unshakable confidence. The calm, silent certainty that no matter what happens, you cannot be broken.